Okay, guys, so today I wanted to talk about Corey Lewandowski. So last night I was watching some TV show about what politics, of course, and then Corey Lewandowski came up, and he sounded like a crazy person, and I feel like it's the moment where people lost patience. Okay, with that. Sorry, the word bullshit. Okay, it's like he was like, investigate Hillary Clinton. Hillary, like, come on, dude. They have bank accounts of people. They have financial transactions. Those kinds of things. That it's not about he said, she said. You can't just like blame somebody else for your IRS W-2s or whatever that was. Okay, so anyway, so I saw Corey Lewandowski, and I'll tell you that during the election, I really wasn't following the news quite as much. So I'd seen him one time maybe, and I was like, whoa, like freak show, right? Like these guys who were so, it's like there's something off with them. Like literally, they look like it's not just that they are mentally ill, but they're like have no empathy, or they're like weird freaks. They have a kind of a vibe where you look at this person and they're like twitchy and like nervous or something. It's like, okay, it doesn't inspire confidence, right? In the sense of like something about them, several of them, makes me feel like I can't trust them, number one, and number two, they're a little bit dangerous. Like I don't want to go on an elevator with this person. Okay, like just like kind of that kind of vibe. So I'm like, okay, why? Sort of like what with what's that guy Carter Page? Like, why are you on television? Like, don't talk. And there he was, like talking, talking, talking. And the impression I got from him as I watched him talk, of course, he was very unpleasant, but he was like, this person must have something at stake that's so bad that he's willing to do this right now. Okay, there's must be a reason why he is so desperate. Okay, because at this point, it's not cute, it's not funny anymore, it's real. Okay, so that's the feeling I got about him. I was like, okay, this guy, what is going on? Because I assumed he was just Paul Manafort, and I knew from stuff I'd seen before that Paul Manafort is the big person in terms of the connections with the oligarchs or whatever. But anyway, so I saw him and I was like, okay, let me do a reading on him to find out, because of course this whole channel, the point of this channel is to follow the news and figure out who these people are, at least on a storytelling basis. Like obviously none of this is truth. It's just a means to find a story, like what is happening that we can't see. So I did a reading on him, and right away, the center of the reading literally says that a younger man has shed light on shady dealings related to a lot of money. Okay, that's the center of the reading. And I was like, oh, younger man, yesterday I was thinking about it. I was like, oh, it must be some prosecutor in Mueller's office that's probably like he's one of the people in his docket, or he's like researching him or something. And I was like, oh, no, younger man, like energetic younger man. Oh, must be that guy, that George guy, right? Like I was like, oh, that's it. Like that must be that guy. Like his information is showing connections or something like that. So anyway, so just to tell you here, it's like I feel like there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes, and something I haven't particularly thought before about other people. Like the one thing I see in his reading overall is that I feel like he has a lot of enemies. I mean, I'm sure that every politician has a lot of enemies, or like every person, a lot of these people involved in this scandal have a lot of enemies, but for some reason, that's something I get very strongly from him. And it looks like the first card is like there's like a lot of things falling apart in his camp, and he's trying to hold it together, but ultimately it doesn't work, because last night I was like, when I first did this reading, I was like, whoa, like ha ha ha. I was like, oh my God, this guy's so screwed, because the underlying cards, the tarot cards, are really, really bad, but the Lenormands aren't. So this one, I was like, oh, maybe it's not so bad. It's not as bad as I think. But one thing that I've read about like tarot readings and doing tarot readings in general is that you have to trust your intuition and the first thing that comes to your mind. You can't be like second guessing yourself. And that's what I got. I was like, it's really bad. So I'll just say why. Okay, this time I'm just going to go over the cards because it illustrates pretty well what I'm thinking, and we can start the story that way. Okay. Okay. So, like I said, the center cards here. This is a lot of money. Okay, the fox. So behind the scenes, the fox is something or a person that is never visible, something really behind the scenes that we don't know about, okay? A lot of money, situations behind the scenes. And then there's a younger man, okay, energetic, probably charismatic to a degree, younger man with a son. So in the context of the question, I think it's about the information that came out through that guy, George, right? Shedding the light onto these hidden financial dealings. Okay. So how it starts, and I feel like this is interesting because most of these people in this Russia investigation, basically the focus of this channel, right? This, like the beginnings of the initial cards are not that bad, but this case, they are really bad. So I feel like that in a way explains his attitude. Like, why is he so like Hillary, like, you know, why is like, what is up? Like, why is he so high strung? Okay. And then the combination, the first story combination is this. Okay, first card, Tower, means everything falling apart, things falling apart, and you don't have no control over them. I think it's the worst card, okay, in my traditional tarot. So this is, okay, then is the stars, and I'll pull out the other cards and I'll talk about the star in this context. So this is a King of Swords reversed. And King of Swords is actually the card I use for a Miller, but if it's reversed, it means, and I looked it up just to confirm, it means a person who would do anything and go anywhere to get what he wants. Like, he doesn't care about you, he doesn't care about anybody, he has no morals. He'll go all the way. He's like ruthless in that way, like almost like a psychopath. Like, whoa, like what a coincidence, right? Like sort of like a really cold, calculating person who'll do anything and hurt anybody to get what he wants, okay? And this is the card of the secret. So I feel like if I read these together, the stars card is usually very, very positive, but it has a connotation of, it means something growing, something spreading. So if we do the Lenormand, like I read the Lenormand, the two little cards together here, what's spreading? The secret. So the secret is spreading. Okay, okay. Oh no, this is the Tower of the Band. Okay, so this secret is spreading. Things are falling apart, and the secret has probably to do with him. It's like this ruthless man. Okay, so this is how the whole thing starts. The background on this person. Okay, and then also it also says, and this is interesting too because in the context of some things I've discussed before. So this is a card of problems, things that are unclear. Just usually says like smaller problems or some problems, okay, not like super huge problems. And this is a money man, okay? And I feel like for some reason I'm getting that this could be Paul Manafort, just because of like where is this information coming from? It has to do with some, like a person, a lot of money, or a very established person in terms of money. So it could be Manafort. So it's kind of telling me that the key, okay, and this is like so interesting. I've said before that the key card has come up in a lot of the people who are gonna collaborate with the prosecution. I'll say that I get the feeling that this is not the case for Lewandowski. The key's coming up for a different reason. I don't think he'll collaborate. I feel like they don't care about him. They're like, whatever, dude, we already have the information. It's not useful for us, whatever you have. It's not enough, okay? So I feel like the secret here is like, it's telling me, like, the context of this card within this reading is more traditional in the sense that it's telling me what the main thing here is. And I feel like what's saying here is that his downfall, okay, the key to the reading is the overspending of money. Okay, it's fun. I say this because I remember very well that this card came up in the reading I did. I think it's like one of the first readings I've done, which was the one about Paul Manafort. This happened before the indictments were public. So like I think it was like October 22nd or something like that. So anyway, I remember this card came up for Paul Manafort, and I remember saying, "Oh, this is like a person who spends more money than they have. They have a luxurious lifestyle, like they eat too much or they spend too much. It's like look like overspending or like too many pleasures, like in a way, right? Like no moderation." So so then if you look at like this, I feel like in this, it's like there's a man there that overspends, has a lot of money, but the problems that exist with this guy will trickle down to this one. Okay, so and it's gonna be related to the overspending, whatever. And it was funny because like I I think it was yesterday or a couple of days before. Apparently, they oh no, I read the indictment, and within the indictment there was like a huge, like several pages of spreadsheets of spending, and one of them was like how much money he spent on suits, and he would like send money from these accounts to like expensive stores in New York. And that's kind of like, and I was like, oh my God, that was the thing, overspending, luxury. And that's how they got him. Because they were like, well, you're spending too much money for someone who claims. That's how they're going to get it. Okay. It's like going to be, it's an issue of, I guess, money, I could call it money laundering. But the way I guess they catch money laundering is like a person who lives above their means, right? Like it doesn't make sense that the person is spending so much, and it's within the realm of spending that the secret's going to be revealed. Okay. So again, it's like it's saying that the secret is the key too, because it's right next to each other. What is the secret about? Is the key secret. The spreading of the key secret, and the problem with the money man is key to whatever Corey Lewandowski is dealing with. Okay. And then the future, and I think that's pretty interesting to me here, because I've never seen something like this. Again, I'm not a professional tarot reader. I've never done this professionally or anything. I just do it. I've done for a few friends, and that's it. So it's not like I have like years of experience of doing readings for hundreds of people and nothing like that. But it's just like in the context of the readings I've done with Lenormand about the Russia investigation, I haven't seen this come up, which is like a person who has some pretty good cards, but when in the context of how they're positioned, they look really bad. Okay. So let's go back to the present with him, which is like, here's the fox and the light that's shining on these like hidden financial dealings. Okay. So what comes next to him, and I'll go over just the pairs of like it in terms of like how it's organized time-wise. So the next thing, hello, what comes up is justice reversed. Okay, justice reversed and a letter. So right away, I think this is super clear to me anyway. This tells me indictment. I mean, I don't think it has come up before, but justice reversed is like whatever legal results came up, it's against you. Okay. And what do you have? You have a letter. So it's like some sort of document telling you that justice, it's not your friend today, okay? I mean, it's like and justice in a kind of a larger sense is about karma, like regardless of the actual legal system, if you think about it, right? So it's like you're getting the karma for things you've done in the past. And then you have completing this, you have the magician reversed, which is the card, like the magician is usually a very good card. It means that you're powerful, you get things done, you accomplish what you wanted to accomplish. But reversed, it means like the wrong kind of magic, right? It means that you're sort of like a con artist, or that you've tricked people. And it's easy to imagine, considering who the president is, that this is contextually correct, right? So we have a letter, and a letter means a change in status, or a person's going to move or something like that. So I feel like even though you could say, oh, letter and stork, oh, there's a good, news about a move or something like that, but maybe It could be that is not the greatest move, okay? I don't know what this is, but like, it's just not, I feel like bad legal news are going to come to him, okay, pretty soon. And then this part of the reading ends with Wheel of Fortune reversed, which is, of course, not so great. It means that whatever your life, however your life is going, negative changes happen, okay? And what is this? The Lenormand Tower. The Lenormand Tower is not a bad card at all. It's a card that has to do with, it could be the government, it could be a corporation, it could be legal issues, okay? And then you have underneath, you have the Death card upright and the Moon. So if we combine these, you have, okay, a situation that's related to his legal status. Or like, this is a card, the Moon, in Lenormand is a card of your reputation, how you're perceived in the world. Okay, it has other connotations, but usually that's how I see it. So it's like his legal reputation, something about his legal reputation is going to change, okay? And if you think about it, it's like, okay, so what does it say here? It says that things are going to happen, like bad things are going to, like the Wheel of Fortune is going to change for the worse, like bad news, and something comes to an end. Okay, it's a transformation. Like a lot of times, whenever I see the Death card, I actually don't see it as very negative. But again, if all the cards around you are negative, then death is negative. Okay, it doesn't mean you're going to die or something, but I feel like it's an ending. It's definitely like an ending. Things are going badly, and it's an ending, and it's like it has to do with legal issues. Because if I look at these cards connect, because so then just show you, it's all about combining these like stories. Okay, like. So, like on this horizontal, on this row, these three cards you have. First, we have the shady money dealings, and then we have bad legal news through a document, and then we have Wheel of Fortune reversed, bad that things turn for the worse, and it's probably legal things. Okay. And again, I don't think it has to do with Trump's government. It has to do with government as an institution. And like, you could also be like, well, I've seen definitions of a tower as a prison too. It could definitely, I feel like because it's repeating something there's another, like this is another justice and justice again. Who knows, it could be. Because he moves, right? He's moving to something. But again, I just feel like it's those kinds of things, death, like legal, like whatever it's going to happen. I think it's too broad to say like what exactly is going to happen. I just feel like it just doesn't look good for him in terms of his because if it's like your reputation ends, okay, something about your reputation is transformed for the worse. So it's like, if we think about it that way, it just doesn't look good no matter how you put it. Although these cards, for example, in combination, they're good. They're like, oh, he was promoted. Like, his reputation changed for the better. Like, but if you look around at everything else, like, you can't see it. I don't see it that way. And again, this is the kind of thing that, yes, you could give a lot of interpretations, but ultimately you have to kind of go with your gut. Like what does the story tell you? And what makes sense, so that's what the sense, like the sense I get from this. And so as I do in these readings, I pull out 3 cards at the end to think about like, okay, what is going to happen to him once this is done? Okay, what's the story about him once this whole investigation is done? So I don't know if it makes too much sense for me quite yet, but it ends badly, I think. So it's like, this is a card of like 2 of Cups reversed. So like some sort of relationship and business agreement gone bad or like falling apart. This is public. Okay, so in the public eye or somewhere public, it could be social media, it could be actual place. This falls apart. This is a person who is having a hard time moving on, letting go from the past. And in a way, like I feel like as far as I know about him, which is not much, it's like he's like banging on the same button over and over again. Oh, Hillary, like, come on, dude. Like you have to accept that these things were lies, and like you can't blame that on like whatever you've done. It's like you're dealing with the best legal minds in this country. Like you need to do better than like just some BS, like excuse bullshit or whatever. Okay. And this is a gift. So like I feel like, okay, and I'll just show you the last, which like has a chilling effect. Okay, so this is like a person who's holding on to some money, not a lot of money, but like kind of like what is that? Scrooge. I think it's like a person who's like doesn't want to change, and like whatever money he has, he doesn't want to let go of. And there's a friend, Scythe. So it's like, woof, it cuts the money. Okay, in the end, this is the final card of like the story of like what happens to the person after the reading. I mean, after the investigation. So like he loses his money, whatever money he has, he loses, and he becomes known like as a person who was involved in some sort of deal. Where was here? Person like business dealing became public. He doesn't want to, like, he's not accepting that things changed. He can't move on. And he loses his money. Okay, so like the gift becomes public. So maybe something like, you know, some sort of money, something that we don't know, whatever this is, like it's going to become public, whatever gift he got, but he loses. Okay, he loses the money, and that's it. This card is like, I find it like really kind of scary and fascinating at the same time, because it's a card of like, it's both the card of harvest and a card of an end. So like whenever it comes up, because I haven't been learning, I haven't done a lot of Lenormand readings. It's relatively new for me, but like so anyway, so you have to really understand each card separately. And like when I think of death, because death in tarot, it's never super like final. It's never like, oh, you know, there's always like a good angle. There's always a way that you could see it nicely. But I feel like this card is so like, whew, like it's bad. And Lenormand, unlike the tarot, always says like, there's negative cards and they're negative. Okay, like that's it. You can't turn them like into something positive. Of course, you can always see the negative situation as something positive, but you can't not see something negative when it shows up. So that's what I feel like is like tells me that something bad's going to happen to him. And I was like, okay, so this time this is like even creepier, like what comes next. So like I was like, okay, let me find out, is it really, I always try to like, is it really as bad as it sounds, or like am I not seeing the positive or something like that, right? So then I was like, okay, let me just pull out one more for like the final, you know, ending, whatever. And I'm like, whoa, maybe I shouldn't have, because like this is like the hangman, okay, and the ship. So it means that he's stuck in the situation because of a foreign power, okay? And at the same time, it was like, maybe it was like, because I did it late last night, and then I'm just talking about it today, but I was like, whoa. Like, if you read this literally, I don't think, okay, guys, I don't want to scare anybody or anything. It's just like, if you read this, like, the man was hanged by the foreign power. Like, whoa. Like, I don't want to read, this is not literal, okay? But, like, if I look at the last, okay, this is the last card about his, like, what happens to him in the end. And, like, it's like he loses money. But what it's telling me essentially is that it's like he's roped into the situation because it's involved with a foreign power, okay? And so that's it for Corey Lewandowski. It's like, it doesn't look good to him, you know, it doesn't look good for him, but it does sound like he sounds like he's very aggressive, and like he has a lot of enemies. So in a way, if I look at like, you know, the other person that shows up here, the money man, or the problems of the money man, in situations like this, if you have a lot of enemies, it's probably likely that they're going to want to throw you under the bus if they can. Or like, imagine a person who's going to lose everything. Let's say Paul Manafort or whatever. Okay, I don't think it's controversial to say that, okay, that he's screwed or whatever. But like, if it doesn't like you, he's like, oh, here's some information about that guy. Like, you know, like, why not? Might as well, or something, you know. So like, So that's the situation. That's what I see for Corey Lewandowski. All right. Okay. That's it. Thanks for watching. Oh, and by the way, I just want to say last thing. It's so interesting that people like connect to the readings because I started doing them because like I need to like I need to cope with what's going on. And like there's a lot of people who also do readings about like the um the election and like this whole Trump thing, but like I feel like I read so much about this. I feel like I need to know about specific people and what's motivating them and like so the fact that people seem to connect with this as well tells me that like I'm not alone and that like we all have these questions. And again, it's not like obviously we don't know what's going to happen, right? We don't know. This is just a kind of form of speculation too, right? It could be anything could happen. It's just a way to like, it's a story that the universe is telling us in a way or another about what we're experiencing, something that we don't know yet. Okay, so that helps me a lot to understand what could happen next. Okay, and prepare us in a good way. I feel like this actually gives me a lot of hope because it looks like the people who committed crimes will pay for them. So that's the story. Okay, thanks for watching again.